Chapter 1: Europe at the beginning of the 18th century. The balance of power, the Enlightened governments, commerce in the colonies, the growth of the middle class, the causes of the European Revolution, the settlement of 1713 and 1714, position of the leading European powers in 1715, the Empire, Austria, Prussia, Bavaria, the Palatinate, Hanover, Saxony, Poland, Italy, Spain and Portugal, the north of Europe, the Eastern Question, Sweden and France in 1715. On the 1st of September, 1715, Louis XIV passed away. With his death, the 18th century can be considered to have truly begun, much in the same way that the meeting of the States General on May 5, 1789, marks the end of the century. The years from 1715 to 1788 were a period of preparation for the era extending from 1788 to 1815, a time when a revolution not only swept through France but also affected other countries, leading to a significant reconstruction of the map of Europe. The causes of this revolution, which has so profoundly influenced modern Europe, are clearly indicated in the history of the preceding years. During the period from 1715 to 1788, certain leading ideas were accepted that differed in many respects from those proposed during the revolutionary epoch. Perhaps the best known of these is the concept of the balance of power. After the Peace of Westphalia, it became recognized that a number of independent states of various sizes and resources must find a way to coexist, and that the security of all must be ensured. However, the Christian Republic was an ideal of philosophers and was largely ignored by Louis XIV. It was not until 1688 that William II led a successful opposition to the predominance of France. The balance of power in the 18th century has been described as merely a temporary immobility produced by exhaustion after long wars. Diplomacy was corrupt, and international immorality was universal. The principles of Frederick the Great and of Catherine II were practiced by other governments which had not the audacity to avow them. The invasion of Silesia, the partition of Poland, the attempted dismemberments of Turkey and Sweden, and the suggested dismemberment of Prussia, are well-known illustrations of the contempt for established rights and the determination of powerful states to enrich themselves at the expense of their weaker neighbors. No consideration was paid to race limits or to national boundaries. Large portions of Italy were, at the Peace of Utrecht, taken from Spain and given to Austria, while the Spanish Netherlands was handed over to the care of the distant House of Habsburg. Until 1788, the supremacy of dynastic interests remained practically unquestioned, and it was not until the 19th century that the idea of nationality became generally recognized. "They cut and pare states and kingdoms," wrote Alberoni of the ministers of his day, "as if they were Dutch cheeses." And this statement accurately describes the policy pursued with a brutal consistency by all the great powers from the Treaty of Utrecht to that of Vienna in 1815. Expanding on the introduction. The 18th century in Europe was a time of significant transformation, marked by the rise of enlightened absolutism, the growth of commerce and colonial expansion, and the burgeoning middle class. These factors, along with the intellectual currents of the Enlightenment, contributed to the causes of the European Revolution. The Treaty of Utrecht in 1713 and the subsequent Peace of Rastatt and Passarowitz in 1714 marked the end of the War of the Spanish Succession and established a new balance of power in Europe. The leading European powers in 1715, such as the Holy Roman Empire, Austria, Prussia, Bavaria, the Palatinate, Hanover, Saxony, Poland, Italy, Spain, Portugal, and the northern European countries, were all positioned to exert their influence in the coming years. The Holy Roman Empire was a complex political entity, comprising numerous territories with varying degrees of autonomy. Austria, under the Habsburgs, was a dominant force in Central Europe, while Prussia, under the Hohenzollerns, was emerging as a significant power. Bavaria, the Palatinate, Hanover, and Saxony were all important states within the empire, each with their own political ambitions and alliances. Poland, Italy, Spain, and Portugal each faced their own challenges and transformations. Poland was in a period of decline, with its political system of noble democracy contributing to its weakness. Italy was a patchwork of states, some under foreign control, while others were independent city-states. Spain and Portugal, once the leading colonial powers, were now in decline, with their overseas empires under threat from other European powers. The north of Europe, including countries like Sweden, Denmark, and Russia, was also undergoing significant changes. Sweden, once a major power, was in decline after losing territories to Russia in the Great Northern War. Russia, under the rule of Peter the Great and later Catherine the Great, was rapidly expanding and becoming a major European power. The Eastern question referred to the diplomatic and political issues posed by the decline of the Ottoman Empire and the potential for its territories to be divided among the European powers. This was a significant issue throughout the 18th century and would play a crucial role in the events leading up to the Napoleonic Wars. France, under Louis XV and later Louis XVI, was a leading European power, but its internal struggles and the financial strain of its colonial ambitions would eventually contribute to the French Revolution. The ideas of the Enlightenment, with their emphasis on reason, liberty, and equality, would also play a significant role in shaping the revolutionary movements of the late 18th century. In summary, the 18th century was a period of great change and upheaval in Europe, with the balance of power constantly shifting as nations sought to assert their influence and protect their interests. The ideas and events of this time would set the stage for the revolutionary changes that would come in the following century.